Linus Tech Tips coverage of Computex 2013 is powered by Western Digital. Our trusted gaming gear partner is Corsair Vengeance, and our trusted retail partner is ncix.com. Now, we've showed a couple thin bezel monitors over the last little while, but invariably we've ended up disappointed because it turns out that the spec that the manufacturer's usually talking about is the slimness of the bezel, but then often we're finding out that they have glass front panels that have a dead zone around it that makes the effective bezel not really that much different from any other monitor that's out there. This is a little bit different. This is the VN279LQ LB from ASUS, and if you think that that's a mouthful, then you're probably going to think that the image in front of you is an eyeful. They run at 1920 by 1080, and you can see that there's a game running on them. So these are IPS panels, but they are gaming optimized. And you might ask, why would they do that rather than go with a faster TN panel? And the answer is very simple. These are 27-inch monitors, which means that they're big. They're also designed for gaming, particularly in surround gaming, which means that they're going to be really big. TN does not have the optimal viewing angles that would be required to properly get the color fidelity that you're going to need for an enjoyable, immersive gaming experience once you surround yourself with these, because you won't be able to look directly at every single panel. That is why it has been changed. Now let's have a look at just how slim it is. I'll do my trademark cell phone thickness comparison here. So you can see it is slightly slimmer on the top and the sides, about the thickness of an HTC One. And then on the bottom, there's a little bit of extra space for the buttons. So there's power, input, brightness, all those usual adjustments that you see. But unlike some of the other monitors we've seen in the past with slim bezels as well, it's not a dramatic difference. I remember the last time I did a 5x1 portrait display setup on NCIX Tech Tips, we were using a monitor that had a top bezel about like this and a bottom bezel about like that, because they had like a speaker on it or something. I was like, well, that's not very optimal. So this is looking to change that. It's going to be available in a couple months, and I think that pretty much wraps it up. Time to move on to the next cool thing. Yet another product here at the ASUS booth. So this is the Wireless Duo. You can get it in either a 500 gig or a 1 terabyte capacity, and there's a couple different colors, and it's got some unique features compared to other wireless hard drives. So first of all, we've got a USB 3 interface, which, okay, that's not particularly unique. Next, we've got these are dummy models, so don't mind the fit and finish. Next, we've got an SD card reader. So what's cool about this is you can actually hook up your SD card. You just plug in your SD card, and there's a one-touch backup. You can see on the interface right down here on the tablet. All you have to do is click SD. Yep, there you go. Click OK, and you can do a one-touch backup on that. Next up on the unit itself, you see not a whole lot, except that it's actually pretty much sealed. So it is not quite something that you'd call waterproof to the point where you throw it in a puddle, but it is water resistant and splash proof, so you don't have to worry too much about, okay, you've got your wireless drive in your backpack, you're riding around on your bike in the rain, and if a little bit of rain gets through, you don't have to worry about, okay, the thing's just gonna die outright. So they've got apps available for iOS 5 and above, Android 2.3 and above, as well as Kindle Fire. Obviously it works with Windows and Mac as well. And I just wanna show you guys, here we go, how snappy the interface is, because if you've seen any of these wireless devices before, you'll know that they're not always the fastest thing in the world. Now it should be noted we're in the middle of a crowded show floor where there are tons of wireless devices, an extremely interference-ridden environment, but in spite of that, the performance of it is what I would consider completely acceptable. So you can see it is managing to every time you try and demo something, it burns you. But there you go. Now it's buffering ahead of the playback speed of the actual content itself. Not only that, but there's some other cool features in here as well. So it supports music playback while you are actually viewing photo files, for example. And this is cool. So it's got full support for FLAC media files as well. And I've lost track of where those files were, so you'll have to take my word for it. But, hold on. Music, whatever, we'll just play something else. So you can change your music playback to either the condensed one or full screen if you want to check out your album art. And this should be coming. When's this coming, you guys? I put everyone on the spot. Apparently July, but don't take my word for it. Convergence truly is the name of the game, and I'm about to go about that two different ways. So number one is the problem with convergence is everyone wants smaller and smaller devices to the point where they do everything, but they don't necessarily do everything well. So notebooks, two of the trends are that it's becoming more and more difficult to fit an optical drive into a notebook form factor in a way that will be appealing to a customer. And number two is that notebooks have notoriously terrible onboard audio solutions. So this is where convergence hurts us. But where it helps us is when we get all-in-one devices that can take some of the best engineering talents of a company like someone like ASUS and turn it into one product. So this is the Xonar Blu Ray Station, which actually seeks to address that problem. So number one, it is a high quality, hence the Zonar branding that you're going to find on the right side of it here. It is a high quality external sound card. So we're talking headphone amps up to 16, or it has a headphone amp, so it can handle headphones up to 600 ohms of impedance, a C-Media audio processor, as well as a Cirrus Logic DAC. Around at the back, you're going to find a wide variety of different audio output options, including analog as well as digital output. So it is a USB 3 interface to the computer itself, and it does require external power in order to deliver the power you need for that amplitude, as well as an optical drive. So it can turn your notebook pretty much into a higher quality sound solution, as well as a Blu-ray playback station that can support, as you can see here in the demo itself, a surround sound audio system as well. So it takes that notebook that wasn't really good at those things and is an all-in-one solution. Blu-ray reading, Blu-ray writing, external audio, and a combination of all of it.